listening to the Astral Hour. I'm your host, Astral Meadow. Join me as we take a glimpse into the mysterious. Welcome, everyone. Today I'm joined with Stephanie Barthelmes. She helps online business owners to step into their power and grow their empires. By crafting magical systems and intuitive strategies, she shows them how to seamlessly make the impact they were destined to create. After working with the moon for 25 years and using its guidance to navigate through countless expansions in her life, she is ready to help us channel that energy too. Welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm so happy too. So we just started talking and she's already helping me figure out how to screenshot a picture for my podcast. So we're going to
This is
record this
like,
process.
right. And well, here's the thing. This is like my favorite thing to do as it is, because I know for a lot of people, like my gift is, I call myself the tech goddess, right? Because my gift is tech. And I know for a lot of intuitives, a lot of magical folk, tech is like the aversion. And
Mm.
because it usually breaks for us magical folk because we have so much energy flowing through us, right? And then we get, no, tech hates me. But tech is our friend. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If we
Mm-hmm.
tell tech that it loves us and we love it, my computer and I have this deep personal relationship because we just love each other. Her name is Iris and she
Aw,
loves me so much. She's just the best. Okay.
that's my daughter's name.
So, no way.
Yeah.
That's so great. I,
Uh,
oh my God. Okay. It's really great. Now I can't stop smiling even more. So, this is for Windows users right now, guys. Okay. So all my PC friends, everybody has this amazing tool called the snipping tool. Okay.
mhm.
So if you press your, or actually even just on your keyboard, if you look, there is a PRTSC key on your keyboard. Do you see it? It's usually at the top, on the top row. It's the print screen button.
I see it. I see
Do
it.
you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now look at me and Astral are gonna look at our screen and smile. And she's gonna press button.
That's literally all I have to do.
That's all you have to do. And then
And then it goes to like my computer, right? It's just,
it's on your computer. Now go open Facebook Messenger really quick. Well, not on your phone, not on your phone. We're on your computer still.
okay.
Open
Okay.
Facebook.
Let me
Whoosh.
make this small.
Yep, go ahead.
I'm like so bad at tech that I'm
You're
I'm nervous.
It's okay, babe. I'm here for you. The tech goddess is with you. And there's this beautiful thing
Okay.
called Control Z that we can undo things. Okay. So just send me a message. Just open a message to me
Okay.
right now. I promise I got you. I got you. I
All
won't
right,
let you
opening a
break anything.
message. So should I have it
Just
open.
control. It's okay. Open a message to me and then Control V.
I see it. Oh my God, it happened. I'm gonna have to go back and take notes on this. Wow, that was
There you go, babe. There
now
you
you don't have
go.
to see my phone in the picture like I'm taking a selfie in the mirror anymore.
There you go, babe. Yay. I'm so happy. See, and that's my thing. You learn something new every single day. And tech does not have to be scary. Tech is actually your best friend.
Hmm.
And it's one of those things that I learned from in my 25 years of growth and all of the things that of going through life and even heartache, right? Like my ex-husband was military, and but we were able to connect while he was overseas, right?
Right.
And even then I knew the power of Zoom and like seeing his face from across the world when Zoom
Right.
wasn't even a thing yet, right? Like,
Right.
but we were still able to connect almost every single day while my son was an infant and it was just me and him, right? I was able to connect with this human across the world, and we were still able to do like, I appreciated that, right? I was like,
Mhm.
how can people not see the amazing power that this is, right? How can
Right.
people have such an aversion to this? And yes, I mean, people take advantage, and I can appreciate that too. I have so many protections in place. You'll never see me, and this is my own personal thing. I have personal opinions on this, but I don't post pictures of my children online.
Mhm.
I post maybe the back of their heads just because scary, icky, the humans are out there, right? And I
Mhm.
understand this. But like I put those are my fears that I'm just like, no, no, thank you,
Right.
and there are protections in place that you can do. I use my page all for business though, right?
Right.
I've grown such a big thing that I'm like, no, thank you, right? So
Mhm.
I do all of that, and I'm just like, and there are other people that they do that, and but their pages are more private, and that they keep
Right.
everything where they pick and choose who come onto their page to see their things. That's perfect for them, right? And
Mhm.
you do all however you protect your children, and you do your things, go do your thing. And
Right.
so like I've made my world so I've grown it so large that I'm just like, no.
Right.
No. So it's just I know how big tech can be, and I know, and I love it, and it's just I keep growing it that way. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the tech was very limiting for me in the beginning, and I'm very lucky that my husband is a Gemini rising and he is very tech savvy. And it really took both of us, because like I had the thing I wanted to do. Like I had the passion and like, the creative force that I needed to bring this thing forward, but the tech was the thing. And I'm like, but I don't know, like what wires do I have to buy? Like there's like 100 microphones. Like there was so much fear around it, and then like being scammed. Like what if I buy the crappy, camera, or what if like Zoom was a big thing for me. I was like, what if I can't get the person on the other side to unmute their computer, But now, I would be out of luck without it. Like I couldn't share my podcast. Like so many of my readings are through Zoom, and I'm finally like confident with it. To the point where I'm just so grateful. Like I'm going back to school. It's all through Zoom, and I'm like, thank God for the internet, because like I really hate traveling. Uh, I don't want to be like driving hours a day to go somewhere. So I'm like, I'm grateful for it for sure. And I definitely think many of us that have, these spiritual gifts, like we can finally reach people outside. Some of us are in these small communities and we're not necessarily supported and uplifted in these small towns, but we can still do
Mhm.
really big work, and not have to like move to, California or some big state, um, to
Right.
reach people. Yeah.
Exactly. No, exactly. And it's funny you said my husband's a Gemini rising too.
Oh,
I'm a Gemini moon. But it's funny because he has such an aversion to tech.
oh,
Like,
wow.
we're such opposites. Mind you, his learning is like completely different. He's a landscaper. So he's very intelligent, but his math skills are like through the roof because he has to do like the
Mhm.
math to like figure out like he does hardscapes and stuff. So like he does the math to figure out like how much dirt or like how much block he needs to get, and it's almost perfect. He knows exactly how much, and like he never has leftovers. I'm like, do you realize how much of a gift that is? Like
Right.
th- that's beautiful. And I didn't even, you just helped me like put two and two together. I'm like, huh, that is very Gemini rising to like know that and to learn that skill. Cause like
Right.
every year he's like, I want to learn how to do like a waterfall, like a waterscape. I just want to learn how to do it so then I can like, I'm like, wow, babe, just go for it. Like, go for it. Do it.
Right.
Just,
Right.
that
Yeah.
makes so much sense. And then Gemini moon, I just know just how it works. It just makes
Right.
sense.
Right.
It
I don't,
just
yeah. I'm a little jealous. I don't have any planets in Gemini. But it's in my fifth house, so I have like 1,000 hobbies. So I mean I still have some of the influence. But it's just it comes in through my life through a different form that's
right,
completely
right,
uncontrollable for me. I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to Hobby Lobby because I need to start a new thing today.
right.
So, so for those who don't know you, could you share just a little bit of background on yourself and your spiritual journey for us?
Oh my goodness. So I've always loved the sun, the moon, and the stars. Like it always just, in fact, what's really funny is I saying when I was little, I had these earrings. And it's fun. I don't think I've ever told this story out loud. I had these earrings when I was little, ADHD time. I had these earrings when I was little. And they were, it was a sun, and then like that went into your ears, right? And then there was dangly on one side, it was a star, and on the other side, it was a moon. And I loved those earrings so much. But my mom told me, she's like, you're the sun, the moon, and the stars. Like, that's how much I love you. That's how much, And I had this affinity from that point on. And I couldn't have been more than like 8 or 9 when I got them. I remember I was in elementary school, but I loved like just learning about them from that point on, right? Like, just like astrology and like all of the things. And like, you always read the horoscope, like,
Mm-hmm.
like dear, like what was it, Dear Abby or whatever, like in the newspaper, you saw the horoscope. And I was just like, how do they know? Like, how do they know my day's gonna be like that? So I was 15 years old when I got my first tarot deck, and I was raised Catholic. I'm Colombian, so like, of course, raised Roman Catholic, and that is a big no-no. Like, you do not. And so I hid that sucker, and I was scared of it. I was terrified of that thing because no, no, like that's bruja magic. That's like
Mm-hmm.
devil. Like, yeah, your soul's gonna be taken. Like, and so like, but I always like, I don't know. I always wanted to learn more, right? And so I I guess it was not until I guess hmm, 5 years ago now is when I like dove back into like the reawakening of me, right? I walked into the local crystal shop and I got dizzy. I got dizzy. Like, why does the floor feel like it's going like this? Like, why am I so dizzy? And they were like, uh, it's not going like that. Like, huh, are you balanced? Like, are you okay? I'm like, I don't even know what you're saying. Like, what are you talking about? They're like, do you see things? I'm like, I'm not crazy. Like, what do you mean? Do I see things? Like,
Right.
like, and so that like really started on my journey. Like, I started, looking at crystals, and then I started talking to people more that were on this side, and I got my
Mm-hmm.
first reading done. And she's like, babe, like, you know, that you're gifted. And I'm like, I'm not. Like, after so many years of being told that you're not special, like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I can't. No, no, I'm not. Hush, hush. No, I'm not. Mind you, I had already gotten my own oracle deck, like behind the curtain is like the row of like all of my decks, and even like that little box back there, that's my
Mm-hmm.
very first tarot deck. Like, I still have my tarot deck, and I love my tarot deck. I read tarot for fun now, like,
Mm-hmm.
not just for fun. I mean, I read tarot for people. Like, I get paid to do it now. And it's like, it's so crazy to think about like the 180 that my life, from being scared and thinking it was like bruja magic to I'm a bruja. It's this is who I am.
Right, right.
I am like the eclectic, witchy girl that like I'm proud of it. Like, that's who I am. Like,
Right.
I help humans figure out who they are, and we go through like all of that trauma of like reprogramming our brain and knowing that eh.
Right.
Like, it's I don't know. It was just a crazy journey of like, I'm the crystal girl. I read cards now, and it was a crazy just awakening journey. I'm a medium.
Mm-hmm.
that was fun to figure that. Like, I'm, yeah, yeah, knowing that it wasn't just crazy voices in my head and it was legit.
Right. Like guidance from
Yes,
other
it was
other
God.
entities.
And it wasn't even just it was legit people's family members coming through. Like I did like true readings. Like I did things backwards and I picked up a pendulum first. I was the crazy pendulum girl in the crystal shop. I found out like I became friends with like the people there and they were like, yeah, for the longest time you were until we knew your name, you were the pendulum girl. That it's the psychic pendulum girl because you knew things that made no sense. And I was like,
Hmm.
oh. Like I walked in and I found things that were lost for years. And it just that's
Right. You make
I
it
was
work.
just I started just making it work. I was just like, okay, this is who I am, and okay.
Right. And I love that because, you had to overcome that fear. And there are so many people that I've met. And some of them are still at that point where they're like, I'm really drawn to this, but I'm terrified, first off, of anyone knowing that I'm into it. And then second off, like I know I have some kind of gift, but I'm scared, like if I dive in, that it's going to expand and then I'm going to go insane, because it's like there's all of these things that we've just been told. And I do think that some of the movies have programmed us like, they've got like the tarot in the background as like the demon things coming out. And it's like we have to really like clear that stuff out. And so it's really awesome because you've already done that work. Like you weren't necessarily born into the supporting, place with it. And you did have to overcome the fear, but it just shows people that, if you're feeling drawn to it, you can explore it. Like nothing bad happened to you. You're not possessed by some, demonic thing now, you're not. I don't know. It's like it's not scary, but we do have
Mm-mm.
to overcome that to be able to work with the tools. Because if you're scared of them, I always tell people if you're scared of them, then don't play with them yet. Like if you're scared of a tarot deck, work on asking yourself why I'm afraid before. Because you get that death card and you're scared, then I'm sorry, that's gonna put more fear, right? Because you don't understand what you're working with, and you're gonna start
Friend.
projecting fear onto it.
Right? Exactly. And it's so funny because I like read and for the first time people, right? I have I shouldn't say two. You for people that can't see, depending on like how you're watching, like I have so many decks here. And
Right.
mind you, I have two different decks, tarot decks that I read from on the regular. And the one tarot deck has a happy-go-lucky tower deck. Okay, or a
Uh-huh.
tower card, right? And
Yeah.
then I have another deck that has like a death and destruction tower card. And it's like, okay, guys, like depending on which deck I'm reading from, that's when you worry on which tower card we're like how we're reading this tower card, right?
Right.
Like it's always that. And like no matter what, how I read the tower card, how I read the tower card is, oh my god, yay! Like we get to start all over. Yes.
Right. Right.
Right? It's always how you define it. And that's how
Mm-hmm.
I look at life in every direction, right? Like y'all, like wait, can I curse? Can I
Yeah.
curse?
Yeah. Yeah.
You bleep. Okay. Y'all, how you like control your fucking life?
Right.
You control it. So like you get to decide. Like I've been through so much shit in my life. And the universe tried to test me in such a huge way. I fell in the mud. Like I was on my way just to run errands, and I literally fell plop down, right? Straight down on my ass. Like, bah, okay. And I made a reel just laughing at myself because what else can you do but laugh at yourself? Like, I mean, you can choose to be mad. Yes, I could have. I could have easily been so angry at myself, right? Gone on and focused on that all day long and been like, oh my God, like I got covered in mud. And like, this has just ruined my whole day. And oh my God, no. Like, and what I did do, this is what I chose to do, right? I went inside, took off my shoes, like changed my clothes, like, and went on with my day. Like, I
Right.
had I have to wash my jacket, like right, and whatever. But and then I got rewarded. Like I found an extra $50 gift card to a store that I absolutely love, and which gave me $100 gift cards total to this store I love, right? And then on top of it, they were like, "Oh my gosh, you have a birthday gift." I was like, "Okay." Like, thank you, universe, right? But mind you, as I fell on the ground, I said, "Why, universe? Like, really? Really, universe? Is this what we're doing today? I don't have time, but okay." Like, all right.
Right, you just have to roll with it and trust that it's how you're responding that's going to dictate that next move. And if you're responding with laughter, then it's like it clears it. But if you respond with like, okay, now I'm angry and frustrated, then that's what you're bringing more into the field that you're in. And so like, yes, there's always going to be tests. And I think that's where the tarot cards are kind of like giving us a heads up on like, hey, you have a test coming up, be mindful of that, right? So you get like the tower card and you say, okay, I'm going to have a moment. I know it's coming. But now when I see it, okay, through that synchronicity of like going ahead and activating it ahead of time, you're going to be able to say, "Oh, I can flow with this. I don't have to resist it because guess what? You can't resist the tower anyways." So like it's just like you give up that control and say, "Well, the control I do have in the situation is how I respond." And if you respond in a more positive way, I feel like more positive energy is going to come in because the tower's cleared the way. And now what are you going to bring in to that moment? So I don't know. I feel like we can be scared. I don't know. That's why I'm like, if you're scared of it, just don't do it because then you're going to just be bringing in fear.
I agree.
Maybe start with an oracle deck. If you're scared, get you a little angel deck. And Raphael will hold your hand while you are going through your thing. But
Right? I'm so with you on that. And that's what I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I got that tarot deck and I didn't touch it for years. And I already said I did not. And I did. I got a when I got back into it, I got an oracle deck as a gift, right? Like that was and then I got myself a cute little unicorn deck. She's so cute. She's so cute. um but like I started reading them and I was like, okay, I'll do the tarot. It's fine. But then I bought a tarot deck, but I still didn't touch it because it was
uh-huh.
one of those I think with my ADHD it's the rules behind it, right?
Uh-huh.
I was told like you have to do it this way or if you don't do it this way, you're wrong. And I was like,
Hmm.
I can't. I can't do it. I just can't.
Right.
But then I took a tarot like certification course and they were like, there's no wrong way. I was like, oh,
Right.
I'm glad I know that now. Like, why couldn't you tell me this years ago?
Right. It's like a form of gatekeeping. And I swear to God, it's like every metaphysical anything. Like this was a big thing with me with astrology is because even after like years of studying it, like there's all these different perspectives on it, right? Because so much of it is intuitive. And so there's different cultures that are practicing it. So, of course, they're going to view it differently. And I kept thinking, like, I'm doing it wrong, because I'm using this house system, because my interpretation of that is actually different. And then as I started feeling more confident, I'm like, that makes my readings unique. Like, I see it. Like, this is my reading. Like, I'm the reader. Like, people are coming to me. And so, like the way that I interpret it is the magic, right? So a different astrologer might do it differently. Same with like tarot and stuff, but like they're coming to you, right? So like the message that like you have for them is the one they need in that moment. And maybe a year from now, they'll go to a different reader and get a different type of message that'll be just as important? So it's like you have to be careful, I feel like, in these communities and stuff because there are some people that are reading and they don't want you to become a reader because they want you to have to come to them. And so they don't want to empower you. They don't want to say everyone can do this. They want to be like, "Oh, well, if you didn't clear your deck from the last reading, then you've blah blah blah." Or, there's like thousands and thousands of rules and they're completely meaningless. I had a girl and she's like, "If you don't cover it in a scarf, it might soak in like toxic." And I'm like, "What the like, where did you get that from?" I hear rules all the time and I'm like, I don't know where you got that from, but I've been doing this for a while and I've had zero negative entities come for me. So I think you're good, but it actually prevents people from stepping forward in their own practice, and it annoys me, honestly.
No, I'm so with you on that because it scares people. And especially like the neurodivergent community. I'm I mean, I'm very protective of the neurodivergent community. I'm part of the neurodivergent
Mhm.
community, right? And like we suffer from RSD and we feel these things so deeply. Like we hear these things and then we take them as gospel, right?
Right.
And then it turns into this whole like, well, oh, if you're saying that, then I can't do it because if I can't do it that way, then I'm wrong. I'm doing this wrong. Like I've
Right.
learned all wrong. And you're saying that this person that I'm looking up to is telling me that I'm doing it wrong, then I've been doing it wrong for all these years. Now I'm a fraud. Right. And it's
Right. Right. It just
right.
like
And it's this whole
pushes
like
imposter syndrome.
spiral of exactly. And it's like, but why can't we all just be friends?
Right.
like like you can practice the same thing as me, but we have totally different like people that like we're talking to, right?
Right.
Like it just boggles my mind. There are like billions of people in this world,
Yeah.
like y'all, but working collectively, that's what's so important. Like I just
Mhm.
feel like collaboration over competition all day every
Mhm.
day.
Yeah.
And like there are people that are so threatened, like even if it's like similar work, that like you know what I mean, if it's similar but it's completely different, it's like but we're not doing the same thing.
Right. And
We're
even if
not
you
doing-
are, it's good to have friends that actually understand. You know what I mean? So like I
Let's
have other
speak the same
Akashic record.
language.
Yeah, I have other Akashic record friends that read and I'm like, thank God, because I just discovered this really far out thing and I need to talk to somebody about it. And I can't just talk to my clients about some of that stuff, because that's personal. So like I have my own relationship and I need friends that understand the language that I'm speaking. So it's not like we're not competing. Like in no way. Like I have other people that are oracles, I have other astrologers on my show, I have other record readers. And it does not take away from my business because I know that everyone has like a certain person that they're going to resonate with. And so I want them to be able to find that. And if it's not me, then I'm totally going to represent my girl that's doing the same thing, but like maybe has a different tone about her that totally would align with that where that person's at. And so it's like I love being able to do that. I love being able to send people to my friends that I trust because I've worked with them, and had powerful experiences, with them. So it's like collaborating, like we can help each other grow. And I promise you, you're going to have more clients in the long run with collaborating than if you have some Instagram account where you're just like being gross to every other reader and saying, oh, and like it's like some of these accounts are like seeking, like, oh, she said that one thing and I didn't agree, so I'm gonna make a whole thing against it, and you're just like, so it's like focus more on like what
But
you love
why?
about people. And just if you don't like something, just ditch it because now you're bringing that into your field. And then I don't know. Like some people roll with that and it's just not not my thing. So,
No, I'm right there with you. I'm exactly there with you. I just don't understand like why we can't just share like and I'm there's such a thing as toxic positivity. Like, I can
mhm,
completely agree with that. You can't be happy all the time. There's no such thing as being happy all the time. Yes,
mhm,
it's important to feel sadness. Yes, it's important to feel anger. Yes, it's important to feel like all the emotions.
mhm.
Yes, absolutely. But there is no time where you need to be an asshole to anybody. There's
No.
never a time when you need to be rude to anybody. There's never a time when you need to go up to somebody and tell them that anything mean about them
Right.
in any way, shape,
Right.
or form. Never. Never.
I
Like,
know.
why? Why go out of your way and like put somebody down? Like,
Hmm.
why?
Right.
What what do you get out of that? Like,
Mhm. I really
what?
don't. And I think it repulses people and it actually turns people away. And so it actually doesn't work in their favor. And I see this like all the time with like these local politic things, and they're like, so and so sucked. Don't vote for. And I'm like, is that really what you're rolling with? Like, you're gonna roll with like your focal point's gonna be so and so sucks, so vote for me. Why can't you be like, I'm really great at this and I love that? Like focus on what you love, Like so I don't
Right?
know.
Like, that's yeah. I mean, yeah, can't you just, I mean, brag? Yeah, absolutely. Like, they're like so worried about bragging on themselves. Like, okay, I want to know more about you, actually. Like, I want to know
Mhm.
why I'm voting for you, not why this other person sucks so bad.
Right,
Like,
right,
I need to know about you and why, like, you're so cool. Like,
right. Yeah, I'll never forget. There was this flyer, and they were like, "This girl drinks her pee. Is that who you want to vote for?" And I was like, "Oh, is
I,
that our low ball in it?"
like, but how do you know this? How did you
Right?
get this info?
Someone's a
Like,
fangirl.
were you there? Did you see it?
Right,
Like, were you involved? Like,
right, right. So it's just like the whatever, whatever. So, all right. So we've talked about some of the metaphysical tools that you use. What are some ways that you work with these tools to help people grow their business?
oh, so one of the fun things I love doing are my boss fish readings.
Hmm.
They're boss fish slap readings. I hate lovey-dovey readings. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it's so funny. Like, you wouldn't think I'm in a very loving monogamous relationship. Like, we are gross. I already shared he's a Gemini rising. I'm a Gemini moon. Like, we are disgusting together. Like, we are gross. He grabs my ass all the time. Like we're gross. We're disgusting. And I hate lovey-dovey readings. Like, anytime I see a lovey card, I'm like, why? You know the rules. Why are we doing this? We don't, because I am not a romantic. just, I just, I've never been that girl. Even I just, I claim that I've never been that girl, and I manifested my husband. Fun story about that, but um, I don't like doing them because I feel like there's a lot of pressure when it comes down to it, right?
Hmm.
I feel like when people come to me and they're like, "What's my relationship going to be like?" I'm like, so if a card comes up like the Tower about a relationship, then I'm like,
You got to tell them.
exactly. And I don't want that pressure on me, right? Like, that's
Right,
a
right,
type of pressure that I don't want on me. Whereas if it comes up for a business, okay, babe, we need to restructure your business.
right, right.
Let's talk about it this way, right? Um, I think my heart is, as a Gemini moon, it's too, and even like if you study Reiki, my heart chakra is, it's large. It's where everything's focused, and
Hmm.
um I carry a lot there. So I stay away from it, mainly probably because of that. I couldn't imagine breaking anybody's heart. Like, I
Right.
couldn't. Whereas I'm a Capricorn, so it's very, and if we're looking at the whole house system, which is what I work with in Moonology,
Hmm.
I I really I my third house is Capricorn. So that's how I communicate. So it's very easy for me to
Right.
be black and white. It's very
Hmm.
easy for me to be like, okay, babe, listen, this is what we need to do. This is how we need to work in your business. This is what we need to focus on. This is the system we need to build. This is what we're going to do, so we can turn everything around and get you back on track, to get you focused, to get you where we need to go. And also, the beauty of being a medium is your guides want to make sure that you're winning
Right.
always. Your guides are there to guide you, guides, go figure, in the right direction, right? They want to see you succeed. They want to see you grow. They want to see you like going like in the most successful direction ever, right? The
Hmm.
thing is, a lot of the time we're like, I want to go right, when they're like, no, 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 go left.
Hmm.
Like, I'm telling you, this is the direction. And a lot, we're spoiled brats. We're like, we want the instant gratification, so we think we know what's best always, right? Because of freedom of choice, right? We have the choice always, right? And they're like, but we know the path that you need to go on. Like, please just listen. Just listen. And so a lot of the times, the readings go for me, with like, when we're pulling the cards and stuff, they're just like, all right, I see you. I know what's happening. Like, this is what you want to ask, what you're afraid to ask. Here we go,
Hmm.
And most recently, I just had a reading, and she messaged me. She's like, you just helped me get past so much I was holding on to that I didn't realize I was holding on to. Like,
Mm-hmm.
thank you. You pushed me past this. How often should I be getting these readings? I'm like, listen, I will never tell you. I'm like, you do what you feel is right. Like, as often as you need to, but like, it's what you feel in your heart. It's always attuned to you. Like, if your guides are saying, listen, go talk to, Stephanie, schedule a call. But I'm not going to be like, you need to schedule a call with me once a week because
Right.
that's first of all, that's gross. Like, whoever does that, that's icky. Second, like, it's you and your gut know, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to listen to your intuition. Everybody has an intuition. It's a matter of whether you choose to listen to your intuition or not, and whether or not you choose to follow it, right? Like, a lot of us, until we learn to listen, right?
Mm-hmm.
We kind of want to do the opposite. We ignore it because we're too scared, and that fear takes over because that ego is like trying to protect us from our best selves. Like, how often, until you started learning about your magic, right? How often were you like, no, no, it's too. And we just talked about it a little bit ago. Like, how often, like, are people like tapping in, and then they're like, no, this is too scary, because that shadow, that ego of like everybody else's insecurities hops in, and it's like, we're protecting you. This is not what
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to be doing. This is not, when like the other side is like, but you can look what you've already accomplished. Look what you can do. Look. So it's all of these things, and it's work. Every day it's work.
Mm-hmm.
But I come in and I help you realize, that's one step, others, I use my tech tools, right? I come in with these readings. I'm like, okay, I can see the layers, the added layers that you could be using to
Mm-hmm.
help you move forward, because
Right.
I feel like a lot of times gurus that have no business talking about tech in any way, shape, or form, they don't know what tech is there.
Uh-huh.
Um, like, they recommend these tools that are either way too much for a business or not enough for a business. And I like to come in and be like, mm, are you sure you should be using that? Or maybe you should be looking into this instead, right?
Right.
Like, I love seeing where the bottlenecks are, and, putting puzzle pieces together that maybe are like far apart from each other, because I love automations and integrations and putting all those pieces together, because that's my zen. That's part of my magic and part of my, like, all of it, because it's just, I don't know. I nerd out on that kind of stuff too, because that's what I do.
Right. Right. So you're a Capricorn sun, right? With the Gemini moon.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So yeah, the whole time you're talking, I'm like, you're just following your chart. Like, so you're actually embodying, the things that you're helping others with, because Capricorn really is like the sign that gets us up the mountain, and it's cardinal, so it can light up, and inspire others. So it really is like you're following, your purpose in a lot of ways too, but also initiating that for others, because your sun is going to land in all of your clients, whatever house they have Capricorn in. And that's the house where we find our drive, like where we are going to have to climb the mountain. And so if they don't have any planets there, like you're going to help activate that house for them in a lot of ways. So you're really like doing the work, and having the sun in the third house, like, yeah, communication all day is is like your gift, so you're going to be able to articulate the thing that maybe they haven't been able to connect, or even, try to unveil yet. But there's such a good work ethic with Capricorn, so it's awesome that you're like a business coach. Like, it's like perfectly aligned. And then the Gemini moon, you've got the text. I mean, it's like you're doing it. You're doing it. Like, you're embodying it.
I love it too, though. I know. And it's like, it's one of those things where like, as soon as I get in the rhythm with like any of my clients, as soon as we start talking about like their work and like what's going on, if they're like, they say, Steph, can we chat about like this one thing? I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, schedule a call with me. Let's hop on a call. Let's do the thing. And because I love my clients that like hire me on as retainer clients, because I love doing the tech work. I'm a CTO, and they hire me on. And one of the perks as me as their CTO is we do business talks, right? So once a week we get on a call and we chat about, we just talk back and forth about what's going on in their business, and we strategize, right?
Hmm.
And that's it. It's just them bouncing the ideas off, and I'm like, all right, so what if we do this, this, and this? And they're like, I couldn't, I couldn't figure that out. Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Okay. Okay. So what tools will we? I'm like, all right, well, you already have this tool. So why don't we use this tool to make this, this, and that? Oh, Stephanie, thank God. God, you're here. I'm like, oh, I mean, it's just like, it's fine. Like, we've got this, we've got this. And it's like, you know, breathing. That's my favorite part. It's like hearing my clients like breathe that, like, I have someone on my team that like I can talk this out with, and like it's that fresh breath of like, yes, we're going to get this, we're going to do this. And it's, just working through all of those things, because it's that I understand that tech isn't sexy for everybody. I think tech is the sexiest thing in the world. Like, please, like, it doesn't have to be sexy for you. It doesn't have to be. Let it be sexy for me.
Right.
Like, yeah, I get it. I get it. Like, you don't stress over that. Let me stress over it. You stress over your company and what you're good at, right? Like,
Right.
all the things that you love, let me stress over the tech aspect, and we strategize over the stuff that you're amazing at. Like,
Right.
I'll stress over how to make everybody else see how you're amazing, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so that's the parts like building funnels and stuff. Oh, putting all the email marketing out. Oh, right? Like, you just write all the copy and then I put it out there for you. And it's
Right.
just when they hear that, they're like, oh, it's that easy. I'm like, it can be if you allow it, but you have to allow it to happen. And that's the
Right.
other thing. Like, when you don't allow the things to happen, it's like you create the bottleneck, not even realizing that you're the bottleneck in the situation.
Right. Right. And just like saying, oh, well, I can't do this and giving up instead of saying, I can reach out to someone that can help me get through the thing that is holding me back and then I can soar. And a lot of, with the work that you do, a lot of us are doing readings, we're making money off of that. We can afford to pay someone to help get the advertising out, to help make the connections, because that part takes so much time, and we're making more money on the readings, so we can afford to pay somebody to to help us get more readings. You know what I mean? But that's something I've been, kind of struggling at because I'm so drained from the networking that I'm like, wow, I could have just done like two readings, but instead I just, focused on something that doesn't light me up, like the part that doesn't light me up. And that's as a generator with my human design. I'm like, that's where I'm like, okay, I just drained my life force. But there's people that like are great at that, and it's, it helps everybody to like almost like, sharing the workload in that way. But then you
Mm-hmm.
can actually make more money, but it's like it's hard. It's hard for people to fathom that like I spend a little, I make more. Because it's like we're clinging to our money, but it's like, no, that's like part of being a business. It's like you have to figure out how to outsource certain things so you can do more work and make more money and do the thing that you want to do versus the thing that you freaking hate doing that's just draining your energy,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly that part. And it's like understanding the pieces of like, this is where like the automation and stuff comes in, where a lot of people get really scared of, well, then it's not personal. Then if I do it this way, it's not personal anymore. And then it takes all, I'm like, but that's not true. Because here's the thing, like, if you create a template where like you're just putting in, there's systems out there that you can create a calendar where people can schedule, and you can make it all so that it goes through, right? Like, you can talk out the system, and we put all the puzzle pieces together, and then you can create it one time. You can work with a person one time, right? It doesn't
Right.
have to be like the monthly thing. And then once that system's created, like, it all flows for you, and then
Hmm.
you're not having to think about it anymore. Like,
Right.
a lot of my systems, like now, like just scheduling uh a a clarity call with me, right?
Hmm.
Like, they schedule the call with me, and then automatically like the confirmation calls sent, the 24-hour calls sent to them, and then the reminder calls are sent all to them, right?
Mhm.
I don't have to think about sending any of that kind of stuff to them. Like the link for them to get onto the Zoom call with them, like with me, is sent. I don't have to do any of that because it's just everything's, like steps sent. And I set it all up like 3 years ago. I'll like check it like once a quarter to make sure everything's set up, but that's once a quarter, right?
Right.
Like you only have to do these things just to make up. And I've updated my emails, maybe like I've updated them twice. I'll update them twice a year based on how my business has grown and how it's like shifted it, like, and all the things. But that's it, right? We stress over these things that they're not necessarily needed to be stressed over, right? We create these stories in our head that are not necessarily true, keeping
Hmm.
us from our own growth, right? And it's like, but why am I doing this to myself? Like, what?
Right.
And then again, it goes back to shadow. Shadow's trying to keep us safe, right? Shadow's trying to keep us from the unknown of like, well, you haven't done this yet. So how do you know it's going to work? How do you know, blah, 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 right? But it's like, but what if it's easier this way, right? Like
Right.
there's so many things like that I work with my clients, and creating these things that keeps their life so much easier. Even just as a solopreneur, you can still say a solopreneur and save yourself that time and effort, right? But by creating these steps and doing these things just that one time, like working with me the one time, and it's just it's nice and breathing. And it's nice, like I like working with my magical folk because they're like, oh, you understand my language, thank goodness. I don't have to speak in like in plain English because you understand what I'm saying to you. I'm like, yeah, babe, it's fine, just breathe.
Right.
Got this.
Right. Right. It's awesome. It's like, in your Capricorn way, like helping them lay the foundation down. Because we can't build, on a foundation that's not solid. It's just going to keep crumbling, keep crumbling. But you're over here like, no, I'm going to initiate this. I'm going to help you lay the foundation down, and then I'll help you throughout the whole process, or, guide you to where you feel confident to do it yourself. So I'm over here like, listen, I'm going to have to book something because I've hit a wall. I've hit a wall because so much with the podcast and the readings, I was like, I'm scared to get too big too fast. I'm so scared. So like I haven't started TikTok. Like I definitely don't do automated stuff. And I'm like responding to emails. Like I get stressed out, And I'm like, I'm saying the same thing every time. I'm like, okay, these are what the readings are like. This is. And then I'm like, okay, I got to look at my calendar. And I'm like, I need some kind of automated thing where they already know what my days are. So I'm like, you're like the person that I probably needed to meet, because I'm literally at that point where I'm like, I've perfected my readings. I know exactly like the format now. I know what I can handle. I know how many a month I can handle. And at the beginning, I was a little nervous. I'm like, how much energy do I have? So I was like conservative about it. But now I'm like, no, I could do probably, so many of these a month now, pretty confidently. And then I might be able to pick up extra, but like for the most part, like it could be structured. It could be like on Tuesdays. That's always available, where that automation would be nice, because like, oh, like now I got to talk to somebody. It's going to be like an hour of like emailing back and forth when really
Right,
I'm saying the same thing every time, you know?
right,
So it's like it's not like less personable because they're still going to eventually work with me. But like
exactly.
that part is like it almost is like the boundary of like this is what I have available and this is what I do. And if you don't like that, then it just stops right there. And then I didn't just waste 30 minutes like explaining my process to someone that doesn't want to do it anyways, because now they know, right? So I see you not yet. Yeah.
Exactly. Uh-huh. That's exactly it. But it's exactly what you just said is the entire process. Mind you, Capricorn new moon is in 3 days. So like the
Yeah.
new moon cycle starts in like a few hours. Guys, just
Yeah.
saying, as we're
And
recording this, just
I'm
saying.
a Capricorn moon natally. So
No way.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm feeling very myself. If you couldn't tell, I'm feeling very myself. Um, But this is it though. Like this is the perfect time actually to even just like implement those processes, guys. Like regardless, any time is the best time to implement
Right.
any of these processes. Like it doesn't matter what time of year it is. It doesn't matter like when the moon is in Capricorn, period. It's just guys, like creating an easier process for yourself is important. Like,
Right.
if you want to love what you do even more, if you want to, like, what I've always said from the very beginning, if you look back in from when I started my business in 2018, like, it's, like, do what makes your heart sing. Like,
Right.
like you have to do what makes your heart sing. And like that is the whole point of being an entrepreneur in my business. And if you forget like what makes your heart sing, y'all, like go back to the freaking drawing board because like
Right.
you fuck something up. Like something like down the road like it's not working. It's
Right.
not right. And so like for me, I'm not going to lie, like for all of 2023, I was going through my growth phase all over again. Like my word last year was magic. I was finding my magic again. I was figuring out what it was and what I do all over again. And I combined the moon and tech. Like I know I'm the tech goddess. I know I am the tech goddess. I see what makes sense for people's businesses and how, and I do not tell you what to sign up for because
Mm-hmm.
of an affiliate link. A lot of times I don't make money off of like what my clients sign up for because I don't have an affiliate link for it. It doesn't work for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it works for them and that's what matters, right? I'm not just I think that's icky. But like I intuitively know what's going to work for my clients because I want their businesses to grow. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what matters. Like your business needs to grow. It makes sense for you. And
Right.
also, like, you're going to have to learn how to use these tools, regardless of whether you choose to work like later on or not. This is your baby. This is your business. You have to know how to use the tools in your business. And
Right.
so many times I've found that like they're choosing these tools because some guru is like, this is what you need to use
Mm-hmm.
because I use it and it works for me, so it works for everybody. And it's like,
Right.
yeah, but you're a multi-million-dollar business, like, or multi-six-figure business. Like, that's not where, this person is yet. Like,
Right.
they had no business signing up for this tool. Like,
Mm-hmm.
or like, it's just, it boggles my mind sometimes when like this kind of stuff happens. And so, I would rather like people sign up for the tools that are necessary for them at the level that they're at right
Right.
then. And when they grow their businesses and stuff, yes, eventually they might need to upgrade to a different tool. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine, but that's an easy fix. That's something
Right.
easy that can be done, right? And we can discuss that later. But like, and the time at hand, it's better to have to upgrade later than not using a tool at all, right?
Right.
And having being tech phobic and doing everything and being stressed out and doing everything manually and doing all these things, right? And like, then not calling in business, right? Because you're having to do everything manually. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
babe, you're holding back because you don't want to do these things, right?
Right.
And you're not even realizing that you're holding back because you're having to do everything manually, right? It's like you're not
Right.
realizing that you're holding back from the universe. And there's just a whole litany of like underlying subconscious things, right? That we're telling the
Right.
universe when we're not helping ourselves. And
Right.
it's crazy. It's
Right. And that
crazy.
fear, I mean, it does interfere with how we're manifesting and what we're attracting. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I think it is important. And someone like you can help say, acknowledge that that is actually a fear. I think you're maybe scared of growing too fast or and then as you process, okay, I think I am a little afraid of getting too big. So that's something I've had to work with. I have Saturn conjunct my moon in my natal chart in Capricorn. Uh so like I do have a lot of fears around things, And so many times I recognize it. I'm like, oh, this isn't actually happening in that way. And like maybe I'm afraid to get like too big, to be like too, because then I'm like, oh, because the more people that follow you, the more haters you have, right? And so I've actually spent the last couple of years just processing like the crappy comments people leave on my, and I'm like, okay, now I have to realize if I get bigger that there's gonna be more of that. And I have to go ahead and process that fear right now and say, that's just the thing. Like you see these celebrities, they have just as many haters as they have followers, but they still have all that support. They're not, you can't focus on that. And so I think
Right. All right.
acknowledging
I
the
have a
fear.
thingy to flip that script though. I have a
Okay.
thing to flip that script though. Okay, ready? Because listen, you have a hater now. You fucking made it.
Right.
You've made it. No, think about it. Like the only people that receive haters are the people that've made it, right? So the
Right.
people that like show up, it's like, oh my God, I've made it. I have a hater, I've made it.
I like that.
You know what? So like, and the more haters you get are the more supporters you get, right?
Right.
Because like the other day I did an impromptu reading on my page. I got two different people hop on. They're like, come get a reading for me. Come get a reading for me, right? My followers on there, oh no, they were not having it. They're like,
Right.
why would I get a reading from you when Stephanie's here giving me a reading and she's so much better than you and she would never do that? Hop off. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Right.
Right. So like as many haters there are, you have supporters, right? So like
Right.
flip the script on it. Like just be like, I've made it. I have made it. Like flip the
Right.
script. Always flip the
Okay.
script. That's how I look at it. Like just that's just the way of life though. Like anything I just again I said I'm divorced but I flipped the script because if I didn't go through all the bullshit I wouldn't have my unicorn of a husband now, right?
Exactly.
Like flip the script.
Right. Sometimes it takes a little work, but we have to work to get the thing, and it just takes it doesn't have to be exhausting work, but we do have to, take some actions and make some steps. And that's where people like you are really great because you can actually help them see the steps that they need to take so they're not making as many wrong steps because like you've already went through a lot of that. So many of us hit these walls and we're like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
bought the stupid thing and like, oh, that was dumb. Like that person totally manipulated me to, I didn't actually need that. Now I'm out $300 because I, now have something I don't need, right? But like you've already went through a lot of that, so you can actually help them, take that path of least resistance, like the path that's going to be a little bit smoother, right? And so it's actually valuable to pay someone like you
Mm-hmm.
because then you're not making so many wrong decisions along the way because you've already went through those steps yourself. So you can help hold our hands as we're like
Exactly.
terrified of like investing in the wrong thing. I mean, it is scary. Like there's so many people out there like they're just waiting to manipulate you. There's all these scammers. I mean, it's like constantly scammers. And so like when they work with you, it's like you're a real person, you care about the people you're working with, you're not just some giant business that's like not aware of like the person's name that you're where they have a family. You understand that, that like their business is important, that is their baby. And like you're not just not aware of like what's going on. Like them personally. Like you really want them to succeed. And I feel like that's why it's important, to have someone that's actually rooting for you as you're going through these steps, because sometimes we need a little cheerleader. A lot of us don't have families and stuff that are cheerleading us, like when it comes to our spiritual business. So it's good to have
Hey,
a
I am definitely one of those people. Like, no one in my family is actually, I mean, my husband and my kids like proudly brag that I am like a bruja, I'm a witch. Like, my
right.
son will tell everybody and their brother, my mom is a white witch. My mom is a white. He was telling people before I was telling people that I was a white witch. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess that's what I am. Okay. All right. Right. Like, and when I got my certification as a moonologer, he told everybody. And I'm like why can't I be that proud? And I'm like, I'm still working on like being as open and honest with people. Like here on the internet it's easy, right? In public it's still really really hard for me like to be like that's what I do, right?
Right. Right.
And like I can read cards and like if I go, my husband's in a weekly pool league and like sometimes like my people will ask me like, hey, can you pull a card for me? And I'll be like, oh yeah, like, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm in public. Like, I'm like, you know what, get over yourself, get over yourself. You tell them
Right.
to get over themselves, like get over yourself. Like
Right.
so like I'll pull cards and like they'll look at me for a second and I'm like, no, no, like you practice what you preach.
Right.
Like, be proud of yourself, be proud of like what you do. You've got this, like, do the
Mm-hmm.
thing. And so, like, I do the thing, and then it is what it is. And then it ended up like one person on my husband's team was like, "Will you pull a card for me on his birthday?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure,
Right.
happy birthday!" And he's like, "You don't tell anybody, but like I'm really into this stuff." I was like, I like never would have gotten that. Like I never would have known, right?
Right.
And like it just it's like there's so many people that are like you're like we talked about this earlier. They're afraid to let others know like how into it they are. And it's but like why? Like it's just
Right. So when we step into our power and we show that outwardly, and we're not ashamed, even though we might be scared sometimes, we're not ashamed. And so people are watching us and they're like, well, they didn't crucify her or burn her. Um, she's still a successful, member of society. She isn't in a psych ward. So maybe I could, maybe I could
right,
pursue that. And it doesn't have to be like, not everyone's going to go into business with it. But like maybe they just implement a little bit of it in their personal practice, like working with the moon. Like everyone can utilize some of these tools. They don't have to become, a public, like witchy person. Like it can be private, but some of us, we it's a part of what we're destined to do. Like so people like us, like we are
right,
meant to guide. We are meant to embody the magic. But it doesn't mean that like people like can't tap into that, like without having to be like, okay, this is my public persona now I'm a witch. Like it's not for everybody, but like still work with
no,
the moon because the moon is working with us, so we might as well figure out how to flow with it. So
right.
before we wrap up, could you just like maybe give some general advice for someone who maybe just like starting to follow and work with the moon energy?
So if you're just starting, this is something that I tell everybody that is like literally just starting. Like go with start following and seeing where the moon is. Like
Hmm.
even today, like as we're recording, it's in Sagittarius. But whenever you go and look, go online and see where the moon is. Okay.
Hmm.
And then write down how you're feeling. Okay. And
Right.
then from every day from now on, start looking at the moon and seeing what day the moon is in and write down how you're feeling. This is a great way to track and see how the
Mm.
moon is affecting you.
Right.
Okay. Because like you start realizing how much the moon affects you based on this. And if you do this for like, I recommend doing this for 90 days, just because this is how you really truly get a good gauge on what the moon is doing to you, right? This is a good cycle, right?
Right.
Because the moon works in cycles, right? It's a
Mhm.
28-day cycle, actually 29 in a few days, a few hours or whatever. But it's, the moon works in cycles, right? And so, like, when she's going around, she's going through every single zodiac, and all the
Right.
zodiacs are in our chart. Right.
Right.
And so when we see how she's affecting us and see how all of those signs are affecting us, you can actually start predicting
Hmm.
how your days are gonna look and seeing like, oh, okay, well, the moon is in Libra, my 12th house. I'm going to hermit today and stay away
Right.
from all humans. Like I'm just going to do the bare minimum and just not because I know that I might say or do the wrong thing and it could be not very good. Right.
Right. And
I could
retreat would feel better. Like if we're talking about our feelings, so that gives us time to process. So if we know it's in the 12th house, retreat, solitude, isolation, that's good. Because if you go out there, you're going to feel isolated anyways. And so then you might be like,
exactly.
why are they not seeing me? Well, it's because you're supposed to retreat today.
Yeah, you're supposed to hermit. You're supposed to just not, right?
Right.
Whereas if the moon was in Scorpio, my first house, I want to be seen. I want to
Right.
go live. I want everybody to see me. I'm going to pull cards that day because I feel most like myself, right?
Yeah.
I am alive and hey, or I'm going to schedule a podcast during the moon in Sagittarius because
Right. Like
that's when I
today.
feel I feel valuable and that's when I'm going to share my value with you guys. That's when I'm going
Right.
to show you I know what I can do and how I can share like what my knowledge is with you guys, right? But
Right.
this is the beauty of knowing
Mm-hmm.
yourself, right?
Right.
This is how you know you. And this is the beauty of the moon and knowing your chart and knowing yourself, right? I look at it as a personality test. This is how I've been working with the moon a lot lately as like working looking at it as a personality test. You know, we take the Enneagram and we take what's another the what's with the blah blah
Like
blah 16.
Myers-Briggs or
Yeah, Myers-Briggs, the 16 personalities and stuff. And I'm like, it ain't got nothing on, you know, your knowing your rising sign and then going through like the 12 houses. Like I
right.
can
It's
read
so
you
much more
like a
personable.
book.
Yeah.
Yes. If I know your moon sign and your rising sign, I can read anybody like a book. And I
Right.
scare people. I
Yeah.
like, they just look at me like, how did you know that about me? I'm like, because you told me your rising sign and your moon sign. How could I
Right.
not know that about
Right.
you?
So now I know every house that every transit is occurring in for you right now, just based on your right. Yeah. So it's like, and then the moon is like so much about our subconscious and everything. So now you can see where they're coming from. And like, their fears, what lights them up, what makes them feel safe. So yeah, it's like we really are like giving a lot of information away when we give those things to people. But it like helps us connect, that's the thing is like I love like getting to know my friends in that way and like other people seeing me. I share a lot about my chart with people because I'm like, this helps you understand why, I
Right.
have a 12th house stellium. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be isolating a lot. And then they're like, okay, so I'm not taking that personally. Right. So it's
Right. And it's like, for me, it's like, I'm, someone told me because I'm a Cap Sun, Gemini Moon, Scorpio rising.
Mhm.
So, hey.
All right, you are a mystic.
I'm a big flirt. Like I know
Yeah.
someone called me a succubus. I'm like, listen, I can't help it. Like I just, I just like put me around the right people. Like I can read a room and I know the room, right? Like I can either be extremely awkward because I know this room is like not my people. And I know this room is like the people that like flight or flight extreme,
Right.
right? Because a
Right.
Gemini just knows. Like, so like my husband and I, we like look at each other. I'm like, are you going to be the social one or am I going to be the social one? Like, how is this going to work? Right. And because we're introverted extroverts, that's how we describe ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we chameleon so easy into the situations that we're in. And it's that. And it's like, I know, okay, all right, this is how I need to be social, you know? And
Right.
it is. And so many times I've gotten in trouble because people thought I was flirting. And I was like, I was just being nice. Like,
You're like, I am a social butterfly. Thank you.
right. Like, I may not like where I'm at right now, but I'm just trying to survive. So
Right.
it's just, and then I get home and then I'm like, ugh. And my husband's like, what's wrong? I'm like, listen, I had to mask all day. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just, we call it resting. Like, it's resting. Like, I have RBF. Like, I'm the queen of RBF. Like, those who don't, resting bitch face. It's strong with this one, friends. It's strong with this one. And my husband will be like, what's wrong? I'm like, babe, I had a human today. And he'll be like, oh,
Uh-huh.
okay. Enough said, enough said. So I'll just say, now it's just our phrase is resting because he'll be
Right.
like, babe, what's wrong? Like, babe, I don't have to mask with you. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to mask. So it's like my Gemini mask is not on. Like
Right.
now that I know about myself, like it's like, oh, and he
Right.
has one too. And I'm like, now I know you're a Gemini rising. Okay.
Right.
All right. Like, I get it.
Right. And you can use it to your advantage. You can know, okay, this isn't my scene. I have to get through this. This isn't my scene putting the mask on. But like you still remember who you are. I think some people say, oh, Gemini's two-faced. I'm like, no, they know which face to present based on the environment that they're in. And that's actually intelligence. That's not superficial projection. They just know that like you ain't their thing. And so, but they're not going to be a jerk to you. Like, because they're friendly, they're
no,
nice, right? But they might not show you their deepest self that, because you're not their person. They know that. So I love Gemini energy. So I could always, I'm like, that
like
person's a Gemini.
Right? I've never had a situation where like I was double crossed by a Gemini. So I've never had that situation where I don't know. Like I guess cuz I'm a Gemini moon, like I mean I've been double crossed by people, but not I don't know. I don't know. It's
Right.
just I don't know. I
Yeah.
my intuition doesn't allow it that and I'm just my kids are like, Mama, I'm scared of you. I'm like, oh, I guess that makes sense.
Right. Because they can't hide stuff from you, you know?
Right? I'm like, oh, they're like, Mama, you just have a scary face. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
that's
Well,
that's what I'm wearing today.
that's what's happening.
I love it. I love it. So, let's see. Before we wrap up, could you just kind of go over a little bit like what a session or consult with you is like, and then also share the best way that our audience can book a consult with you or follow you on social media?
Yeah. So, a bot splish slap is a 60-minute session with me and it is recorded. Okay. And what we do is we work with two different decks, a tarot deck and an oracle deck. And we're essentially just listening to what your guides have to say, whether you have a question or not. A lot of times everybody just comes in with me and they're like, whatever my guides have to say, just tell me. And it's essentially just a mediumship session,
Hmm.
honestly, if we're going to be honest. And then from there, we go through a strategy session and talk about what is possibly needed in your business. And then we see if, we're a good fit working together or not. And kind of step off from there. And then if you would like to work with me further, if you want to skip that session or just, work more, you can schedule a call with me. And actually, I'm going to share with Astral just I have a link tree. So I'll schedule the link tree with you and it has all of my links because I'm that girl. And it has I like to make life easy for y'all. Listen, that's just how I roll. But it has all of my links to all of my socials, and scheduling a call with me to work with me. So it will have my readings and just if you want to talk tech and see if, I'm the tech goddess for you, it will have the clarity call for you. So yeah.
Wow, that sounds awesome. Well, I'll probably be reaching out personally at some point because I'm like I'm ready for a cheerleader and ready to get
Yes.
that next step of, reaching out and branching out a little bit more. So I think you're just like the perfect person for that. So, but I love this. I've been following you for a while now. I love your work. You have so much like beautiful
Thank you.
energy and
Thank you.
yeah, I appreciate you coming on the show. So
Thank you
thank you.
so much for having me here. It was so much fun. So,
Yeah.
so much fun.
Yes, I've had fun too. So thank you, and thank you all for tuning in. Check us out next time on the Astral Hour.